All right, let's get right into it. What we're looking at right now might just be the biggest shakeup in personal computers since we went from single-core to multi-core CPUs. Seriously, it's called the AI PC, and it's poised to completely change how we think about our laptops.
But here's the real question, right? Is this a genuine technological leap forward, or is it just some clever new marketing phrase cooked up to make us all run out and buy new machines? That's what we're going to figure out. We're going to slice through the hype and get to the truth.
So why now? Why is this happening all of a sudden? Well, it's basically a perfect storm of three things all hitting at the same time. First, the tech itself. This thing called an NPU is finally mature and powerful. Second, Microsoft is really pushing the whole industry forward with its new Copilot Plus standard. And third, let's be honest, Apple kind of proved to everyone that super efficient ARM chips are the future for laptops.
To really get what an AI PC is, you first have to understand what makes it tick, and that's the Neural Processing Unit, or NPU. Okay, think of your computer like a team of workers. The CPU? That's your manager. It can do a little bit of everything, but it's not a master of any one thing. The GPU is your graphic artist, a genius at handling tons of visual tasks all at once. But the NPU? The NPU is the specialist. It does one job and one job only: AI calculations. And it does them faster and way more efficiently than anyone else on the team.
And this table just lays it all out perfectly. Just look at the power use. An NPU sips power, using a tiny fraction of what a CPU or especially a big GPU needs. But then look at AI efficiency. That's how much work it gets done for every watt of power. The NPU is just in another universe. It's up to 15 times more efficient than a CPU for these jobs. This right here is the secret sauce. It's how AI PCs get their speed and their crazy long battery life.
You're going to see this term everywhere, so let's just get it out of the way. TOPS. It stands for tera operations per second. It's the standard way to measure the raw muscle of an NPU. One TOPS is 1 trillion calculations per second. It's the big number that all the tech companies are bragging about right now.
But, and this is super important, do not fall into the TOPS trap. It's just like megapixels on a camera. A bigger number doesn't automatically mean a better result. How that chip is built and how well the software uses it is what really matters. A perfect example is Apple's M4 chip. On paper, its 40 TOPS NPU might seem less powerful than a rival with 50 TOPS. But in the real world, it often wins because Apple controls the hardware and the software, so they can tune them to work together perfectly. So, this all sets the stage for a massive showdown between the biggest names in tech. Each one has a totally different playbook for how they're going to win this AI PC war. So, in the ARM corner, you've got the champions of efficiency. First, Apple, the OG. Their M4 chip is the absolute king of battery life because they design everything from top to bottom. Then you have Qualcomm, who's trying to bring that same ARM magic to the Windows world with their Snapdragon X Elite chip. It's powerful, it's efficient, but their big hurdle is making sure all your Windows apps run just right. And in the classic x86 corner, you've got the old guard. Intel's play with Core Ultra is pretty simple. We'll give you a beefy NPU, but with the rock-solid guarantee that 100% of your software will just work. No fuss. AMD is going for raw power. They're boasting the highest TOPS number on the market, and they've packed in a really good integrated GPU, making it a fantastic all-rounder. What's absolutely wild is just how fast this is all moving. Just look at this timeline. Back in late 2020, Apple's M1 chip came out with an 11 TOPS NPU. Less than 6 years later, we're already seeing chips with 50 TOPS. That is a 450% jump in power in just a handful of years. It just goes to show you, the whole industry is going all in on this.
Okay, so we've met the players, we've seen how fast this is all changing, but what does it actually feel like? What does it mean for you in the real world? Let's break down the practical differences between these two camps, ARM and x86.
Okay, check this out. This is where that NPU really earns its keep. We ran a test converting 100 raw photos with AI filters, and the results? They're just staggering. The MacBook Air with the M4 finished in about 8 minutes. That's almost twice as fast as a good laptop with no NPU. And get this, it only used about a third of the battery to do it. The Snapdragon machine was right behind it, proving that for these kinds of tasks, ARM is the clear winner. And that incredible efficiency translates directly to what might be the biggest selling point of all: battery life. I mean, this is the killer feature for ARM-based AI PCs. In our tests, the MacBook Air hit a ridiculous 21.5 hours. The x86 Dell XPS is still respectable at almost 16 hours, but come on, it's not even in the same ballpark.
If you're someone who's always on the move, this is a total game changer.
But it is not all good news for ARM, and this chart right here shows its Achilles heel, gaming. A whopping 55% of the games on Steam are either unplayable or just run terribly on these ARM machines. Only a tiny 15% of games run natively. The takeaway here couldn't be simpler. If you are a serious gamer, ARM is not for you, at least not right now.
So with all that on the table, how in the world do you choose? Let's pull all this info together into a straightforward guide to help you figure out which laptop, if any of these, is the right fit for you. If you're a creator, someone who lives in photo, video, or design software, the answer is a resounding yes. The NPU will literally save you time, and that battery life is a massive perk. Same goes for students. That all-day and then some battery life is the holy grail for taking notes in class, studying in the library. It's just perfect for campus life. Now, for gamers, the advice is just as clear. Stay away, at least for now. The NPU doesn't do a thing for your frame rates, and those compatibility problems on ARM are a deal-breaker. You're much better off putting your money towards a laptop with a powerful graphics card. For programmers, it's complicated. The safe choice is an x86 machine from Intel or AMD. You get guaranteed compatibility for all your tools, especially stuff like Docker.
So really, it all boils down to this one fundamental trade-off. You go with ARM, you get absolutely elite battery life and a machine that runs cool and quiet. The catch? You're giving up some software compatibility, especially for games. You go with x86, you get that peace of mind knowing every single app and game will run flawlessly, but you'll pay for it with less battery life and probably more fan noise.
So after all of that, what's the final verdict? The AI PC revolution is 100% real. The tech is legit, and for the right person, it is a massive step forward. But, and it's a big but, it is not for everyone. It's an amazing new option to have, but it isn't completely replacing the traditional laptop. Well, not yet anyway.
So, the choice really lands with you. It all depends on what you care about most, being on the cutting edge of efficiency or having guaranteed bulletproof compatibility. Which leaves us with just one last question to think about. Knowing the pros and cons, will your next laptop be an AI PC?